My brother! My brother! Where might you be going to?
To the Arabian Peninsula.
I'll give you my cows and my sheep, if you carry me to your land.
Why not then? Let's go.
And then they took Salman with them, until they reached Wadi al-Qura. There they betrayed him, and then sold him to a Jewish slaver man. He saw a lot of palm trees, so he thought that where he reached was his hometown that was described, but he realized that that was not the case.
One day a man from the Jews, one of the Jews of Banu Qurayza, came to him and bought him, and he traveled along with him until he reached the city of Medina. By Allah, as soon as he saw the city itself, he was very certain that this was the city that he was definitely told about. So he lived with the man and worked on his palm trees in the area of Banu Qurayza.
May Bani Kila be damned. They don't commit to a man by the sight of his face. He's coming all the way from Mecca, saying he is a prophet.
What are you saying?
And how does this matter concern you? Get back to your work now.
You seem like strangers that are in need, and I have this food that I intend to give as charity.
Then afterwards, the Prophet, may Allah's prayers be upon him, looked at Salman. Then he told his companions to eat from the food, but he did not eat whatsoever, and he did not extend his arm out to it.
This is a first. I saw that you didn't eat from the charity, and I had something that I wanted to offer to you as a gift.
The Prophet, may Allah's prayers and blessings be upon him, looked at Salman, then at the gift, and told his companions, "Eat in the name of God," and he ate with them.
This is the second time.
He came to the Prophet while he was in Al-Baqi. He followed a funeral for one of his companions, and he had 2 covers. So he greeted him and inquired why he was looking at his back.
When the Prophet of Allah saw him like that, he became aware that he was looking at something that had been described to him. So he took the very apparel he had off his back and gazed upon the Prophet. And he recognized him. So he went to him and started kissing him and crying. So the Prophet asked that he converted, and he did so in his arms. And he told him his story. So the Prophet wanted his companions to hear this story with him as well.
What are you doing there over the high hill, Salman?
God's Prophet is asking for counsel regarding how to fight infidels in that area.
Let's go.
O Prophet of Allah, this area is fortified with mountains, and rocks surround it from 3 directions. However, there is a large gap that enemies could storm through with such ease. O Prophet of Allah, when we were in Persia, and when some tribes came to fight against us, we made a trench that surrounded us. Let us make one here. I recommend that we make a trench be built to cover the open areas around the city.
The Prophet of Allah is saying that your opinion is the best.
At the time, the Prophet gathered the companions. Each group had 40 arms to use in digging out the trench. The city was surrounded by mountains, mountains on every side, except the side that the Prophet ordered that the trench would be built at by his companions.
Ah, what is this large boulder? It is blocking the path that we are digging in. What are we going to do with this?
O Prophet of Allah, I ask permission to change the course of the digging, because there is a massive boulder, and I fear that this boulder would be a weak point in the trench, and the infidels would be able to pass through.
The Prophet came with Salman and took the shovel with his hands and said, "In the name of Allah," and he struck the boulder, and it split wide open, and a bright and blinding light came out from within it, emerging, and the Prophet chanted, "Allah is great. I was given the keys to Persia, and God has illuminated to me the places of Hira and the city of Kasra, and showed me that my people will be there as well."
Then he lifted the shovel a second time, and he struck the boulder, and the boulder gave in.
Look at his short garb, that was so short that it would only reach the very top of his knees.
He truly is a very generous man.
I buy a wicker for 1 dirham, then I work it, and then I sell it for a total of 3 dirhams. I get 1 dirham back, and the others to feed my family, and the third is for charity. Even if Omar ibn al-Khattab told me not to, I won't.
Here we are in front of a man among the most esteemed in Persia. He flees the princedom, and he says modestly,
If you were ever able to eat dirt, but you would not be a prince over 2, then do that.
Even when he was prince over the cities, and nothing within him changed at all, he kept making his living from wicker work, and his apparel was but a cloak that matches his old garb in its modesty and humility.
One day, while he was walking along the road, he met a man on his path who was from the Levant, with a carriage full of figs and dates. The carriage would hurt the Levantine and make him very tired. Carry this for me.
Peace be upon you.
And peace be upon the prince.
Peace be upon the prince? What prince do they mean?
Let me help you, O prince.
It is you? The prince of the city, Salman the Persian? Pardon me, my master. Please forgive me for my ignorance and drop the weight off your shoulders and let me carry it instead of you.
No, not until we reach your home.
And that home was... When Salman started building it, he asked the builder,
How will you build it?
Don't worry. It's a building that shelters you from the heat as well as it shelters you from the cold. If you stood in it, it would hit you in the head, and if you lay in it, it would hit you in your leg.
Yes, build it that way. Come here. Bring to me what I have entrusted you with.
It was a roll of musk. He had brought it during the day of the Jalawla conquest. He kept it to make it his scent the day he passes away.
Spray it around me, for a great creation of God is coming for me now. They don't eat any food, but they prefer a beautiful scent.
Salman died in the era of Uthman ibn Affan. May Allah be pleased with him. In the city of Maidan, near the Taq Kasra, the father of Islam, and no father but him will I have, Salman the Persian.